Hello and welcome to Willow Talk. Adam Peacock here with Brad Haddin. Had's in the studio again. How are you, mate?
Mate, it's good to be back in the studio. We've got a lot to cover off today. The big guns returning for Shield cricket. Is there a shootout? Or I secretly feel that Australia know their first 11 for the first test. But we've got Cameron Green back to the bowling crease. Does that throw selection chaos? We've got a bit to cover off. The England squad as well. That's an interesting one.
Listen to you. You've taken this first carry in a rugby league game. You're just full of enthusiasm, just running into the line as hard as you can.
Mate,
you're back.
Mate, I haven't been able to talk or breathe for 2 weeks. It's good to be out of the house.
Well, it's good that you've got the ability to breathe still. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you. It's good that those, that heart thing that you had going on, you're on the improve. And improve. This is proper Hads here. It's like this big
coming
glint in your eyes.
Can feel the Ashes coming.
There's a series against New Zealand. There's England coming. Why wouldn't you want to be alive? Absolutely. We've got Tommy Decent as well coming on a bit later on from the Sydney Morning Herald. So Shield starts this weekend. Yep. Tommy's all over that. He'll be covering it for the Herald as well, the whole series with the Ashes. So we're on the verge of the bat off. And from a journalistic point of view, he'll give us his thoughts on what will be the big storylines in the lead up to that first test in Perth. So Tommy will be all over it. And I do believe once upon a time he was a teammate of Pat Cummins.
Really?
Yep. A long time ago.
Grade Tommy play?
Don't know. We'll find out. We will find out. Make sure you check out our social media channels at Willow Talk Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Check out the YouTube as well for full-length videos and leave a review on Spotify and Apple, and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Send us a message, TikTok. If you have something you would like on the podcast, you can do that on Instagram as well. Anything you want, we're taking requests at the moment, and you can catch up with our latest episodes on YouTube and our audio platforms via the Listener app as well. Phoebe Litchfield and Megan Shute were the two guests earlier this week, and Ross Taylor last week as well. Ross, I learned some new words off Ponting and Haddin Taylor.
My God. How often have I heard that? It's like they were choir boys, the Kiwis. Why did they just stand there and take it? Did they forget that they were in a contest? But it'd be good listening to Ross Taylor, good player, had a good record against Australia, but come on. Well, you're in a contest. What are we meant to do?
So did you learn words off Kiwis?
Nope. Couldn't understand what they were talking about.
Fair enough. Yeah, how they twist those vowels and stuff like that.
And didn't listen.
Yeah.
And didn't care.
Now, the T20 series, as you listen to this right now, the first game has been done and hopefully won. Hopefully the rain has stayed away there in Mount Maunganui. Beautiful part of the world, by the way. Absolutely beautiful part of the world. But hopefully the precipitation stays away from the cricket in these three T20s. It does go back to the first ever T20 that was played in 2005, and I did see some social media stuff with Hamish Marshall with the fro, and Australia got it done though pretty comfortably. Yeah. Chris Cairns decided to just do some face artistry with his facial hair and everything. But back to this one, Glenn Maxwell. How unlucky is that? So he's copped a bullet from Mitch Owen in the nets while bowling to Mitch, and Mitch has just obviously creamed one, and Glenn couldn't get out the way.
Yeah, I actually can't believe this doesn't happen more in the modern game, especially if you're throwing to or bowling to someone like Mitch Owen, a Marcus Stoinis, Mitch Marsh. The way the ball comes back, I cannot believe it hasn't happened more. I'm not 100% over the severity of what's happened to Maxi. Does he need a plate? Does he need screws? But mate, he's very, very lucky. I've seen, especially in recent times, some really close calls.
Do they bowl behind like you see in baseball, they've got to specialise for the pitcher and they just, hide behind the fence, basically.
It's interesting. Like the bowlers now do a lot of spot bowling without a batter, because what tends to happen in the nets is that they're not finishing off their action. They're not thinking where the ball's going because they're so worried about the ball coming back with great force. So they spend actually a lot of time bowling without the batsman there to get their rhythm and get the feel. But when you're throwing, you throw behind a baseball-style net, and there's rules starting to come into play now where you have to wear a helmet. But, it's dangerous. It's more and more you're going to see batters using bowling machines, getting throwdowns from coaches behind a net, just because the sheer power some of these modern day batsmen have.
Who was the worst that you chucked down to?
the worst to throw to.
Yeah.
Mitch Marsh.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because and I tell you the hardest thing about it is when the batsman says, "Oh, can you just have a look where my hands are and my feet?" So you're trying to throw in that spot and look as well where are the hands positioned right or the head, but you sometimes forget about the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had guys like Marsh, Marcus Stoinis, mate, even Andrew Simons back in the day when he just, it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous, especially if you got the nets as well with the metal poles. I remember facing Sean Tate.
Yeah. Oh.
I think it was at Leicester. And Tatey's radar sometimes wasn't great.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah. And I remember he bowled a wire that hit the side net on the full, but the ball hit the pole, so I'd relax, and it came back off the pole and hit me straight under the arm. He's apologising, mate. Oh, it was, it's dangerous. But I also, there was one in New Zealand where Damien Martin hit one back.
Yeah.
And it came off the pole, ricocheted, and hit the net bowler and split him like a peach. It was.
Was he okay?
Horrible. Yeah, well, no, he had to be taken to hospital. Eventually, okay, but it just split open. So I'm surprised more and more doesn't happen.
Well, Rachin Ravindra's also had some issues before this series as well. He slid into a boundary fence and lacerated his face. So he's in doubt. And he might have come good by the time you listen to this and he played in this first game. But, Rachin's got some issues with depth perception because he had that catch attempt that went straight through and now he's done this.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
What are you sliding into a fence in practice for, by the way?
Oh, it's the intensity that the modern-day player trains.
Yeah, but just chill out, huh? It's like
I'm still a big believer. You can imagine what he's trying to do. He's probably trying to use the rope as the marker, not to step over, throw it back. I still think you should be allowed to jump outside and into as long as you land in the ground, use what you can. If you jump outside and take the catch, there's a lot that has to go into that with timing, depth perception, reading the flight of the ball. But these guys are athletic as there's ever been in the game of cricket. So let's show that off. Let's show that they can do it. And Ravindra, he's also out of the first 2020 with a training incident. So bad luck.
Bad luck. That's unfortunate. Hopefully he comes good because he's a real star of Kiwi cricket and probably their poster boy for the next 10 to 15 years. Just on Australia, obviously Josh Inglis is not there. I think he pinged a calf, didn't he? He's not there, but it's still land of the giant stuff. We've made note of this to the Australian T20 team, so it's more of the same. Yep. That's just what you want to see in the build-up to the World Cup early next year, T20 World Cup.
Yeah, we've had a really good appetite piece to how they're going to play in recent time. They're all out power. We've seen Tim David go up the order. They've changed the role with Mitch Owen. We know he's been a success at the top of the order. He's gone back down in the middle order. Marcus Stoinis, I'd imagine, will come in now in the calculation with Glenn Maxwell, another power hitter. But with Travis Head up the top with Mitch Marsh, Cameron Green was nearly the player of the tournament, I reckon, in the 2020 recently in the West Indies, but they're going to play an all-out power game.
Tim David's there, so he's averaging 72, and I think the strike rate is something in the realm of about 900, the way he's hitting the ball. 3 matches, say he plays all 3 matches against New Zealand, and all's fair that the rain stays away. How many sixes?
Well, on those grounds...
Unders, overs, I'll call the line at 35. 35 sixes the way he's going. I know that's a lot.
In 3 games?
No, that's maybe too much. 22.
22. No, that's overs.
Overs? Small ground.
I'll give you 10.
10? 10 sixes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell you the one thing they are doing, they're changing. You talk about matchups, but Australia have changed the way you look at that in recent time. We've seen a couple of times Cameron Green did it against
singles
South Africa. Turned down a singles to take the matchup on, and he hit a couple of sixes in the over. He did it. We're seeing Tim David turn down a single and play the same matchup card. So they're changing the way that the game's played a bit there. They're not looking for ones or twos. It's all about your boundary percentage now.
Okay, Hats. Last week you weren't around. You were resting up. and the England squad came out for the Ashes. So, firstly, Chris Wokes has retired from international cricket.
Yeah, good guy.
All forms.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Good guy. Yeah, he's good guy. Mate, he
wasn't expecting that to come out of your mouth on the first topic about English cricket on this particular episode. But.
Yeah, mate, you become a much better bloke when you retire anyway. Mate, he was a great servant, especially in English conditions. Yeah, he could get that Duke's ball to talk, but I don't think he would have been. I know he was injured, but I don't think he would have been in the squad to tour. His record away wasn't great, but. Yeah, there was some interesting.
Well, his last act, just quickly on Wokes before we get it, his last act's a pretty cool one to say, hey, that was the last time I played international cricket. Went out with one arm.
Yeah.
Beat that.
Yeah.
Good on him.
What did you think of the squad?
The first thing that popped out to me when I was talking to Heels about it was the fact that Will Jacks is there.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, is he there to just trundle a few down to hold up an end and give Stokes a rest and all of that, but then with the bat, go out and just have full license to go Burko, which we know he can in white ball game. But then I kind of glossed over the fact that Ollie Pope is no longer vice captain, and that was the big talking point out of England, that Harry Brook is there, which then makes you think, well, okay, Ollie Pope's selection is not protected by the fact that he's got the VC next to his name, and that brings in Jacob Bethel. So those two talking points, go for it. Your thoughts on them?
The Jacob Bethel one, we've known about for some time about his talent, and I was listening to Rob Key talk on a podcast recently, the director of English cricket, and he said he's a generational talent.
Oh, is that fair? Like, would you hear George Bailey come out and say that?
Just take away that whether George would say, if they're thinking like that, you can understand now why they've taken the vice captaincy off Ollie Pope. I know Harry Brook's done a good job in the one day form. He looks like a really good tactician.
He'll be the next test captain. Yeah. They're lining him up for that once Stokes goes. But
and that all makes sense, and you can make an argument for that. But the other one is, if they're talking about Jacob Bethel now like that, do they want to play him? Do they want that left-hand option at number 3? He did a great job against New Zealand in tough conditions over there when he was thrown in at number 3. So I'd expect that he's going to play the first test.
Here's one for you then. Mm-hmm. From an Australian point of view, who would you like to see or least like to see in that position, Pope or Bethel? Who poses the more danger?
Mate, he's a talent, Jacob Bethel. Ollie Pope, we've seen he does have some highs and lows, but he has got an appetite for big hundreds. I think Jacob Bethel's talent's hard not to have in an Ashes squad. I think he's a match winner. He gives some options with the ball too, with left arm spin, and that comes back to Will Jack's selection. I have a feeling he might play a role in the first 2 test matches.
Why the first 2?
Because if you go to Perth, spin mightn't play that big a role. We've seen the games not go the full 5 days there, with fast bowling being the appetite for most teams there. So if spin's not going to play a big role, Will Jacks has played Test cricket as a spinner in Pakistan and done okay. So maybe England are thinking about that for the first couple of tests. The second test, the pink ball one in Brisbane. So I was shocked that they didn't have an option of a wrist spinner in the squad. But then I had a closer look into it and looked at their England A team that are going to be out at the same time. So, yes, this is a squad of 16, but they've got a squad of 25 players because they've also got an A team that's touring around playing Prime Minister's game, Australian 11 games. So they'll be able to pull from that squad as well. If as the Ashes goes on, they might need a wrist spinner in Melbourne or Sydney. So they'll be able to use that. But
it's very nice of Cricket Australia to allow them to do that.
It works both ways.
It does work both ways, but no,
we did it.
Well, our guys just go over and play county cricket and keep ticking over there in an English summer.
Yeah, but we started to do it. I remember in 2019 with the World Cup and the Ashes. As the World Cup was on, we had the Australian A team mirroring what was going on there. They were playing one-day games against England, so if someone got injured, you could pull.
Does it work?
Yep.
Yeah.
It does. Well, the thing about if you such a big tournament planning, okay, you've got your 16 players. If someone goes down injured and you've got to call someone in, you don't want them coming off no cricket. You want them coming off form. And with the England A squad playing out here, you'll have guys in form there. If something does happen, we've seen Ben Stokes. He hasn't got through a lot of series right the way through of recent times. So they've got players in form who play the conditions. They're not coming in cold. So I think that's a really smart move.
But overall, the DNA of the squad to me looks like
Pace.
A pace battery with two really, really quick bowlers who they want to stay fit if they stay fit. Where's Wood?
Yeah.
Dress him up in red, white stripes and try and find him. Is that what we're going to do this summer? Where's Wood? And Jofra, and you've got strike rate, high strike rate. And we know that's the McCullum way. I won't call it the Bazball way. He doesn't like that, does he? The McCullum way. So yeah, that's the DNA of the squad, and they've tried to refine it as best they can to prepare. And it's a squad that's been named early as well 2 months out.
Well, this is a predictable squad with what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to get a big stock of fast bowlers up and ready for this series. You look at Tung, Atkinson, Carson. Mate, these guys can bowl the ball with some decent velocity, and that's what you need in Australian conditions.
Who's the one out of those three you just mentioned that you like the most? Go back to that India series where they all kind of got to go.
Yeah, I think Gus Atkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, the big bowling option for them, one of their best bowlers for the summer, was Ben Stokes.
Yeah,
and that's that's actually a big tactical point for the Australians.
He almost overbowled as well, didn't he? He couldn't help himself.
No, and that's sometimes with the nature of the way he plays, is give me the ball and follow me. He bowled 10 over spells. He's not getting any younger. I know he's given up the drink and got his body the best chance he can, but he's a big option for them with the ball. He's one of their most important. But Wood, they've been massaging him for some time to have him fit and ready to go. And it'd be interesting to see whether they go with Wood and Archer in the first test and hit Australia with the two.
Why not?
Yeah.
Or that'll tell you a lot about their mindset.
I think the first two tests are obviously the most important. But do you want Archer playing one? Wood, do you want to rotate them? I'd be more inclined to go both of them together.
Yeah.
Then you take a risk then of them breaking down, then putting pressure on the rest of your group. But yeah, the squad was, I think, a pretty predictable squad. Will Jacks was probably the only real shock in there, but I think they can definitely see a role for him in the first couple of Test matches. So and then the vice captaincy with Harry Brook.
I mean, England looking at us obviously and looking closely, perhaps at even the T20 squad and noticing what Josh Hazlewood is doing and his workload, and he's apparently going to play a lot of white ball cricket before the Ashes as well. I think him and Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins were slated to play a Shield game together. We'll get more from Tom Decent when he drops in the second segment of Willow Talk today from the Sydney Morning Herald. But yeah, Hazlewood, just you talk of Wood and how much he can cope with early on. Just hopefully Josh gets through October, gets through the first part of November and is ready to go.
Yeah, I've heard Josh talk a lot about his preparation and it's the intensity that they need to get to. Sometimes you see these fast bowlers, they do play a lot of white ball cricket to get the intensity level up of what they need to get right for 5-day cricket and obviously international cricket. So that's why Josh Hayes would be playing these 2020 games. He's got a few Shield games to play. They won't play all those Shield games. I could see them playing quite a few 2020 one-day games against India to get that intensity up, ready for a Test match. But yeah, they're crystal clear on what their plan is. Don't yes, we need the first few Shield games to sort out what we need. They're crystal clear in their preparation.
Exactly. Just before we go to a break and get Tom in to talk about the impending bat-off, the Women's World Cup, India got a result over Sri Lanka in their first match at the time of release. Australia will have played New Zealand, so doubled Australia, New Zealand by the time that you listen to this, and we don't know the result. We're going to review the first week of the World Cup next week and try to get Heels on to chat over the coming weeks. But how confident are you of Australia bringing back an 8th World Cup in the women's 50-over edition?
Well, I think this is as strong as team as we've had for some time. I think they're all in form. That they're even players like Phoebe. They've now got near 50 games under their belt. They're comfortable at that level. They know their role. Even Heels, she's come back from that long-term injury. She's had enough cricket now to be peaking at the right time. That I expect the tournament will come down to Australian-India final.
I'd say so. It's a great time for cricket, so we will stay across the Women's World Cup. Obviously, everything in the lead up to the Ashes. I mean, we're driving around now on the weekend, Hads, and you're going past parks full of cricketers and everything like that. So you can't help it, though, can you? I was thinking about this the other day.
How's that?
No, you're driving past and you can see the bowler running in. So you just take the foot off the accelerator. You just see what he does. Or you're walking past the park and, I'll stay for another one. It's good fun. Good fun.
You're not the one who drives past and yells out, how's that? That happens. That's the most there's two consistent things that happen in club cricket every weekend. Someone drives past and yells out, how's that? And someone walks in front of the side screen.
Exactly. That's the second one of that is complete ignorance and stupidity. The first one is just stupidity because you cop the same thing on a golf course. You just people yelling out four and they think they're the funniest people of all time because they're the first ever to do it.
Yeah.
It's a load of shit.
Yep.
Listeners, if you do it, stop. Just stop. We'll stop right now. Drinks break. Back in a sec with Tom Decent from the Sydney Morning Herald. Joining us in the studio on Willow Talk alongside myself and Brad Haddin, Tom Decent from the Sydney Morning Herald. Come in, Tom. Don't be afraid of the microphone. How are you, mate?
Great. How are you, man?
Good. Firstly, this time of year, are you happy to be going down the path of reporting still, or do you, like I said just before the break, are you driving past games of cricket going, I wish I was out there. Oh, why didn't I play this season?
It was funny, like when I was playing out at Hawkesbury, going to Coogee Oval was the absolute dream scenario because it was near the beach and you got to swim. But having lived in Coogee for a long, long time, I look at the boys on a Saturday morning and I do not get jealous one bit.
No,
I'm the same.
No, you got a bit of pedigree about you. You played with or against Pat Cummins?
Yeah, both. Like to be on his team here and there.
What was that like? Like a young firebrand Pat. I heard he was a bit out of control as a kid with his bowling.
Yeah, I played the Carnival in Adelaide, New South Wales 17s, 2010 when he basically got discovered. Yeah. Craig McDermott saw him and thought, wow, who's this kid? My first slip was standing on the 30-metre circle when Pat Cummins was standing in as a 16-year-old, playing Big Bash next summer. Test 10 months later. Crazy story. Good bowler.
So you said my first slip. You captain, were you?
Keeping.
Oh, you were keeping.
Keeping.
Okay.
Must be a good bloke then, Tommy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I know why he's on. Now I know why he's on.
Keepers are better. We talk more common sense. It's interesting you say about Pat because I was away playing for Australia when he got noticed. Stuart Clark rings me. He goes, mate, we've found another one because he was captain of New South Wales at the time. And they're going through selections, and I'll pick this medium pacer. He goes, mate, pick this kid that bowls 150 Ks. He said he was scared in his first few Shield games. And he also said, he goes, I don't even know if he knows he bowls that quick.
But
He's so raw.
He, of all the quicks, though, was more respectful and didn't try and hit you and kill you like some of the others. We used to play like Yorker bouncer slower ball training, and that was just for T20 practice, and that was just hell because nothing's on a good length.
I don't know when you were selecting your team, when you're a young kid, you're 17, you go through the team list, like we've just picked the Poms apart. You would have went, where's Paddy playing? Am I in the same team? Ours was, is Brett Lee? Yes, he's on the right team.
If I could tell you a quick Brett Lee story, we played and Brett was supposed to be playing for Mossman and he took one look at the run-ups and they were too wet and he walked away in his sports car and said, I'm not playing. And you've never seen 11 happier blokes in your life.
Did you ever play against him, Bradley?
I think I may have many moons ago. You're filling back in for NDs. Maybe 2010, 11.
Just a little sneaky game on your way back from something?
2020 game?
Maybe.
You cannot remember this.
I can remember playing a game right at the back end of my career for Northern District's 2020 game against Hawkesbury. There's actually a young left arm quick I was a bit nervous about.
Wasn't Shane Mott?
Maybe. And I thought, I don't need this anymore.
How can you remember this stuff? I can't remember what it did
It was your
yesterday.
life for 20 years.
Yeah, I know, but like there was a lot there. You played a lot of games of cricket.
Everyone who plays cricket or involved with it, we're all a screw loose. You do whatever you can to play a 5-day game and not get a result sometimes. So we're not normal cricketers. So move on.
Yeah, well, Tom's doubled up because you have to be a screw loose to get involved in the media setup, media landscape in Australia, and he's gone from cricket to media and reporting on the game, mate. I mean, as we sit here right now, you've just been out talking to Nathan Lyon. What's the go there?
He's going to skipper this week. Obviously, Jack Edwards away with Australia A duty. So Nace, skippering New South Wales in their first game against WA over there in Perth. Great timing. I'm going to be there for a Bledisloe Cup game, and the Blues are playing next door at the Waka. So
Look at that.
There's talk that Phil Waugh, Rugby Australia boss, is going to be over there watching the cricket before the Bledisloe. So it should be a good day over there in Perth. But yeah, Nace skipper. He's done it once before, South Australia, 2012, when Johan Botha was away on national duty. So yeah, he was pretty pumped. Talked a bit about the Ashes. He was in a good mood.
How many is he playing before the Ashes?
3 or 4. So is what he said today.
The fourth round is November 10 to 13 of Shield cricket. Is that a little too close to the first test? They put him on cotton wool by then? Or
I was under the impression round 4 would be too close for the test guys, but we asked him today. He said 3 of 4 is the plan. So maybe that's the first 3 and then not the fourth. I'm not sure what order, but I think it'll get managed depending on how many overs he bowls.
Yeah, Nathan's one of those. He likes to bowl a lot of overs. He would err on the side of just over bowling a little bit. He wouldn't want to go in underdone, and especially with a spinner. And the way, well, Australia might be lucky. We've got, you might know more. Cameron Green, we're hoping back to the bowling crease in the first Shield game. But Nathan likes to have a lot of bowling under his belt. And he might say, I'm playing 3. He could play 4. He could play 2, but depending on the numbers. But he'll want big numbers leading that first test.
what are some of the leads that you're getting about how this 11 could look for the first test, or has it all got to play out over these first 4 Shield rounds?
Yeah, clearly. Had a chat to Sammy Consist this week for a story in the Nine papers that'll come out in a few days around how he's feeling after Australia A, which is interesting. I mean, fascinating that that's a dig that no one's seen. So it was very funny to get his
It was a blackout.
recollections of it.
There was no vision.
He said it was a green seamer and was doing plenty.
Yeah,
and one
it
of his
was like
best
this.
hundreds. Yeah, exactly. No, it was flat. Said it turned a bit. But I mean, yeah, he's very relaxed about his approach. It's going to be a huge first few rounds, as we know. The bat-off begins.
Do you really think there's a bat-off? To me, I think Australia have got that 11 all sorted. Pat might be the spanner in the works because we're not sure but I can't see, with them investing the time that they have in Sam, that he's not going to be the opener for the first test match.
I'm with you, and I do think they want it to be him. They're willing that on, but I just can't see if he doesn't make runs, how you could throw him in there for the first test.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because he's gone away and got that 100 now. So does that say, okay, he's done enough? Like, is it a number, or is it the way he's playing? Sometimes it doesn't have to be, okay, you've got 140, you got 150, so you're going into the team. It's technically, is he right? Mentally, is he right to go into an Ashes campaign? They're the things I think you need to be looking at. It doesn't have to just be a number. It is his technique in his first 40 balls, or the way he starts his innings, because the 100 he got in India, inside his first 6 balls as well, he tried to reverse ramp again. So is his mindset right to take on the English? And these are all the conversations I think need to be happening now. It's not just about the numbers.
Yeah, interestingly, I asked him about that. I said, is it true you reverse ramp? But he said, well, yeah, it is. And he said, like, it definitely wasn't the right ball to do it. I think he said it was an 8-stump line. So he realises that was a bit of a brain fade. So I don't know what that says in all, but he said, I was really happy. I was probably more happy with my 49. I felt like mentally I was really there, played a really fluent innings, good mental space, doing some breathing work as well with a coach to try and sort of get things out and away before each ball. So he feels in a really good place. He was super relaxed. He doesn't know what his Shield schedule is. That sort of shows how in the moment he is for this first game on Saturday.
Who else is in the frame then around this whatever order we go with, how it plays out, where does Cameron Green fit into the whole order? You can't imagine them moving him too far from where he's been in the West Indies. Up the top of the order, Marnus, all those questions.
Well, Marnus' name kept happening after the Windies too. Everyone just kept saying that they want him in that side. Now, where and when, I don't know. But look, obviously he made 100 for Queensland in a one-day game. It will be a huge value on his runs. They would love to see him back in there. Clearly a huge series. But I don't know if there is a place for him to start with Hads. Curtis Patterson makes some runs. He'll be thereabouts for sure.
Jake Weatherald we had on. Never know what he can do in the first 4 games because he scored runs for fun last season.
The other interesting one is Usman Khawaja. So he'll play the first game for Queensland, but they're sort of saying that it's going to be managed over the next few weeks. I'm surprised that he's not locked into play all 3.
Weird.
Well, I think Uzi's locked in for the first test. And I think we've seen over some time that they've trusted him with his management of how much state cricket he plays. We've seen for some time now he's played a game, had a game off, making sure he's fresh and ready to go for that first test. So that's why I go back to the point that I think they know their first test team. I know we're talking about a bat off. Bo Webster is an interesting name to me that keeps coming up. He's had a pretty good start to his test career. He's been pretty consistent at number 6. And the only conversation piece to me is what they do with Cameron Green. Do they leave him at number 3? Started to make some pretty good strides at number 3 in the West Indies.
Well, Ricky Ponting plagiarised you from a couple of months ago and said that Travis Head should go to 3.
Oh, mate, I've always thought that. I think one of the things with our batting, especially when Steve Smith went to opener, everything would have been solved if Travis moved from 5 to 3. Smith stays at 4, Marnus goes to the top. But it just looks like a reluctant to move your number 5. He's done really well there. He's won games, but traditionally with Australia, you come in at that position, you own it, and then you gradually go up to the top of the order. But yeah, the Bo Webster conversation's been an interesting one because, mate, he's done quite well. The opportunities he's got.
It'd be very stiff if he didn't play. Yeah. But I could also see a world where he doesn't make runs in the first few rounds and it gets squeezed out. Depends on how much Cam Green's bowling. Cam Green might be bowling, but it's one thing to be bowling and then bowling well, and whether you're going to need to use him. Also depending on the decks as well. We obviously know Australia like to make the decisions super late, but you're right. Like, they could have the 11 ready to go. Yeah. But I do think the value of runs in the Shield will be massive.
What are you hearing around Jai Richardson?
Not a lot, to be honest, in terms of coming back and in the mix. Well, I mean, clearly there's issues with not the depth itself, but injury stocks, obviously. We know Brendan Doggett's gone down. Yeah. Sounds like he'll be back for the second Shield game. Sean Abbott will be thereabouts. Yeah. But obviously white ball stuff, we're not sure how many Shield games he'll play. You got some mail?
Well, to me, he went in for surgery at the end of last year to make sure he can play a role in the Ashes. And I think if you look at the first couple of test matches, you'd like to have someone like Jai Richardson up and going by tests, whether he plays available for the last 2 or the last 3, especially with the uncertainty about the role Paddy will play. We know Scotty Boland's come in and done an amazing job. He's not getting any younger. Can he play all 5 tests if he has to? So guys like Jai Richardson's preparation, I think becomes an even bigger talking point and a concern than the batters, because you need a big group of fast bowlers ready and raring to go. Maybe not for the first 1 or 2 tests, but the back end of the series.
So, Pat, what are you getting? Weekly updates? Hourly updates?
We feel
no
bad.
Updates?
We feel bad to have to keep asking about it.
Yeah.
I feel bad actually having asked him how his back was. He did an op-out at Howell Oval the other week. Look, I'd be stunned if he played 5. I would be surprised if he played 4. I think 3 is your number at the moment. Best
First
case
one?
scenario. No.
Second one?
No.
Okay. See you in Adelaide. No, wait. Brisbane.
Well,
sorry,
I
got him
think...
confused.
Sorry, Adelaide. Adelaide would be
Wait,
good.
I was right the first time.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey.
Yeah. I think with Paddy, I think we understand he's not going to play 5 tests, but I think we're all hoping that he's available at some stage. And if the best case scenario is the last 3 test matches, well, I'll take that. Knowing the load on the fast bowlers, it's going to be an intense series. And to have someone like Pat, if he's available for the last 3, might just give you that little bit of energy you need, depending on where the series is at, to drive it home, to have fresh legs coming in for the third test at Adelaide. We know he bowls well there. So I just hope we see him at some stage. I can live... I'd be disappointed if we didn't see him at all, but I just hope we see him at some stage.
Steve Smith captains, if your premonition comes true for that first test.
Yeah, that would be the plan, unless there's a massive change of heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, plenty to talk about, and plenty to bash some words out about, isn't there?
Loads. I mean, the other part too is the fact that Andrew McDonald has flagged that none of the fast bowlers were going to play all 5 anyway. So if Pat's out for one and you've relying on the main 3 now, like we're talking Boland, Hazelwood, Stark, then are we getting into territory where you're going to have to pick a debutant? I know Jai's not, but an Abbott, a Doggett.
Xavier Bartlett.
David Bartlett.
Well, what I got this first round, so it's South Australia, Victoria in Adelaide, Western Australia and New South Wales at the Wacker, and Queensland, Tasmania at AB Field up in
it's up north,
in Brisbane. So yeah, there's opportunities for everyone. Like even a Fergus O'Neill could come from the clouds if he takes wickets like he took wickets to set up Nottinghamshire's county championship victory. They ended up winning it. He played the first 4, took 20-odd wickets. Now, obviously, conditions are a little different. However, someone like him could come from nowhere and play a part in this Ashes series. When I say come from nowhere, as in, like, he's not pretty much the first drop of if one of the 3 big quicks go down at the moment.
Totally. I mean, if you'd said to me last November, would Bo Webster be playing in Sydney, I would have said no way. And that's just how things can move. And, fascinating as well. Like, the other bit too is Australia playing so many tests beyond this year. Like if you look at that run from late 26 into 27, that is like 21 tests in under a year. Like it's an enormous workload. Those big 3 and 4 won't be there for all of that. There'll be a lot of guys making debuts and playing a lot of tests in that window. So if you're fit and firing, ready to go.
What do the English press pack like to hang out with for a test series?
Fun. Hang out with the rugby guys more. Yeah, they're fun. They're great. Great value. I mean, they'll be. They think that the Australian media are the ones who stir it up, but like they can give as good as they get.
Well, the front page editor of the Courier Mail did a job on Stuart Broad all those years ago, so that's at the forefront of their minds. But I do remember things that the English press have done to our cricketers over there in equal measure. Hasn't been particularly nice.
No, that's a fair call. It's interesting. Rob Key on a podcast overnight, talked about this is my warning to the England players: don't do anything silly off the field, and because anyone can whip it up into a story. What I would say to that is that Bairstow headbutted Cam Bancroft, and I think he referenced that as an example.
Ben Ducker will give you a headline.
I think Ben Ducker did pour the beer on Anderson, but anyway.
Yeah, we might need a rugby league headline type thing. There's been a rugby league player in the last 24 hours before we've done this. Has poured alcohol into a poker machine, so you never know. It could bring up anything.
How good's the theatre leading into an Ashes? And this is what to me makes it so exciting. The cricket's as good as you're ever going to get. The rivalry is like no other. But the theatre, like we're talking about, who's going to bat here, I still think both teams know exactly who their 11 are. And if you don't know who your 11 are, you fucked up your plan.
Mark that down, beep.
Mate, these are the marquee series that you're judged on as a player, as an organisation. So, yes, there's a bat-off, and yes, you want Jake Weatherall, Harris, and you want everyone scoring runs. You want selectors to have options to make
contingencies.
Decisions. You want all these young fast bowlers to be firing. Will they get a chance in looking? Maybe not. But you want everyone to have that same passion and desire to be involved in an Ashes series. And that's why I love the theatre.
Hey, Tommy, with Cricket Australia, are they as pumped about the Ashes series as they are about the white ball series against India and what that's going to bring into their little Christmas party fund?
Yeah, we've forgotten about that a bit. Like, so much chat about the Ashes, but when India get out here, that will be a circus. Like, massive fans. Yeah, clearly CA will be filling the coffers on that one, playing all around the country, which doesn't happen very often. That game in Sydney will be massive as well. Melbourne, I mean, a real entree to the main feast.
Canberra, down at Manuka for a game. It is kind of like the reverse of the old school. Everyone looks rose-coloured glasses at what January used to look like on the Australian cricket calendar. It was, the Tri-Series, the Benston and Hedges Cup, the internationals, and people now wonder why people don't go to white ball international games as much. It's because of the Big Bash. People out there only have so much money to spend. Like, you're taking a family of four to a game of cricket these days. It's not exactly cheap. So what are you going to prioritise? You're going to get a season pass to go and watch your Big Bash team, or you're going to go and maybe top up and go to an international game. So the calendar this time has kind of worked out in that sense. But I don't think it'll be too often that we'll see the type of crowds for a white ball series like we'll see at this one for Australia-India.
Agree. It'd be refreshing. Like, I remember going as a kid watching one days, and that was just huge crowds for one days. And it sort of hasn't maybe reached those heights in recent years. But with India, it always gives it a bit of an extra edge.
Speaking of Big Bash, is there a chance that we won't see any of the Pakistan players out here? What the hell's going on there? The PCB have put up the barriers to potentially get out and play some franchise cricket for some of their guys, which is big for, say, Sydney Sixers, Babar Azam. Everyone's excited about the fact that we'll see Bubba in the magenta this season.
You got Ralph at
Harris Ralph down at the Melbourne Stars.
The young bloke Shadab Khan at the Thunder. Oh, it's an interesting one because before the auction, Pakistan wanted their players out and about playing franchise cricket to get exposure to all the different leagues around the world. I don't know whether it's the Pakistan Cricket Board strong arming the players, but it gives teams no confidence in trying to sign Pakistan players. There's a lot of work that goes into list management, getting your players right. Do you pick players that can available for 6 games or players that are available for the whole tournament? And they're huge conversations when you're talking about franchise cricket. And Pakistan do decide to pull their players out, like they've done in their leagues as well. If players go from their league to IPL, I'm not against banning them for a year or two, saying, well, you know what, you're not welcome. Because there is a lot of planning that goes into this and that can ruin teams before they start. So it'll be interesting where it all unfolds. I know in the next 24 hours there's a draft for the UAE
the ILT 20, the UAE League, which starts at the back end of the Big Bash.
Yeah, but that's also, there's some a few Indian players involved in that now. There's a lot of Indian ownership there. So there's so much to play out here. But it doesn't sit right with me at the moment what's happening. And if they do pull all their players out and use the NOCs as an excuse and knowing months ago that they wanted their players like Baba to get more exposure, I'd ban them.
Be cool.
Yeah, the problem is that the Big Bash clubs are desperate to get Pakistan and Indian players in. Obviously, Ravi Ashwin was a huge signing for the Thunder and
biggest we've ever had.
Barbara as well. So that's the catch-22, right? If you try and ban these guys and say we don't want anything to do with you, that's kind of goes against them trying to get everyone in and make that tournament as lucrative and big as it can be.
By the way, from the Asia Cup trophy presentation, is that dude from that was linked? He just nicked the trophy and just walked off, and India just had to have this whole thing is obviously about other things. This tension between the two nations. We won't go down that path, but that was farcical. Have you seen a trophy presentation like it?
What do you expect?
Yeah, true. True. It's a very good point. Very good point. Tom Decent, really appreciate your time, mate. You got some big features coming, or is it just churning out the news?
Bits and pieces, yeah. I mean, obviously, Sammy Kale come out this weekend in the Herald and the Age. So, yeah, stay tuned. And, yeah, we'll be on the road this summer, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for dropping by for Willow Talk, mate. Appreciate it. Oh, who wins the Ashes, by the way?
Australia 4-0.
Oh, 4-0.
Shades of McGrath.
Weather in Sydney?
Or Melbourne.
Storms in Brisbane. Day night are up there. I'm not too confident about that.
Oh, it won't matter. The ball it's pink ball.
It won't matter. You'll be at the pub. Thanks, everyone. That was Willow Talk for this week. Catch you next week. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.